Shifting your mindset when you travel as a raw vegan. Welcome back for another video to Recalibrate with Nate, and I wanted to just share some tips with you when it comes to traveling. So as a raw foodie, someone who doesn't eat cooked food, and if you're trying to eat a high raw diet or trying to not eat cooked food for whatever reason being, maybe you have dietary restrictions, maybe you're really trying to optimize your health and well-being, a raw food diet is a great way to go. And traveling can be kind of tricky because our world isn't necessarily set up to eat fresh fruits and vegetables out there around every corner. There's not a lot of options. So really the best place to go is the grocery store. And that can be a little tricky when you're traveling. Say you're going on a flight, maybe you're taking off for a drive for a few days, or maybe you're just going out for the day to get, to do your errands. So shifting your mindset is just, the idea is you think about what you're going out for. If you're going, let's say you're going on a trip. When I'm going on a trip, I want to make sure that I have all of my bases covered. I've got my hygiene products, I've got my clothes, I've got everything that I need for that particular trip. Say if I'm driving my truck, I want to make sure I've got fuel in my truck. Maybe it's a long trip, I need to actually think about maybe how many times am I going to have to fill up on this trip. Now, you don't have to really think about that as much because there's gas stations everywhere, but with raw food, there's not really raw food accessible everywhere. So the shift really comes to just thinking about what you're going to actually need as far as fuel goes, right? To optimize your health and well-being, you want to put some thought and preparation into that. So what I like to do is I like to think about how many days I'm going for. If I'm going for several days, I want to think about breakfast. I want to think about snacks. I want to think about my lunch, and I want to think about dinner and possibly some desserts or treats. So when I'm thinking about those sorts of things, that really helps me shift what I'm going to need to bring. There are certain things that I can bring with me that are going to last, quite a while. Hard fruits, melons, apples, pears, these sorts of things, bananas. These things really do well. They can kind of not necessarily get banged around. Of course, they'll bruise, but they're a bit more sturdy as opposed to say like a peach or a nectarine or plum or strawberries or something. But thinking about what you need for those particular days really, really helps plan for your trip. Now, sometimes it's really easy to get into the mindset of I'm taking a trip. Maybe I'll just, go grab whatever I want. I'll go through the drive-through, or, maybe I'll hit up a restaurant and get some pizza or some Mexican food or something rather like that. Now, you have the power to choose whatever you want. And, there's nothing wrong with necessarily going and having those sorts of things. For me personally, I was thinking, I know how I feel on these sorts of foods, and I would like to geek out, so to speak, and stay raw on this trip. So I have to change the way I'm thinking about my travels. My travels aren't going to be, giving myself, for lack of a better word, permission to go eat whatever I want, because of course I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want, but I want to choose what's going to be optimal for myself. So I think about travel as kind of it gives me, in a way, the opportunity to express to myself how much I really love myself and how true to myself I'm staying on this particular journey as a raw foodist. Now, not everybody wants to be a raw foodie, and I don't necessarily feel that it's attainable for every single person everywhere to be a raw foodie. But for me, in the States, it is really easy for me to be raw. There's lots of things that I can bring with me on these travels. I don't necessarily need to use this opportunity of a vacation or a travel to eat whatever I want to eat that is going to lead me astray from what I'm really wanting to achieve, which is living a healthy life. Now, not to say that you can't eat some cooked meals once in a while and not be healthy. I mean, we're seeing the studies out there, whole food plant-based, people who go whole food plant-based are still having amazing results. You don't have to be a raw foodie to have amazing health results and turn your life around. I don't believe that. I believe that going whole food plant-based is better than eating the standard Western diet. So what I like to do on these travels is it gives me an opportunity to really think out, plan for how long I'm going to be gone and what I'm actually going to need, and it can be kind of fun. So there's certain things that I like to do. I like to make dressings and have those dressings already made. If I'm going somewhere that I know there's going to be power that I have access to, I'll always bring my blender. I'm kind of attached to my blender in a way, and it's a very vital tool to this lifestyle. I like to make smoothies, I like to make dressings and sauces, and I like to make banana ice cream, and then I need my blender with me. I need my blender for those sorts of things, so I'll bring my blender with me. So that's another thing. If you have access to be able to bring stuff like that for yourself, it gives me this sense of empowerment. I feel empowered, and I know I'm doing right by myself because this is the way that makes me feel the best. Studying nutrition, it's really becomes a no-brainer that the more fresh fruits and vegetables that we can consume on a daily basis, the healthier we're going to be. The healthier our gut microbiome is going to be, the better we're going to feel, the less chances of different diseases we're going to have. So that's one trick that I really like to exercise, is to think about how long I'm going to be gone for and plan for what I'm going to fuel my body for, just like I would need fuel for my truck. If I'm going to hop on a plane, you know they've gone through a full check on that plane, and you hope, and then they fuel the plane up. They know how long they can be in the air for. There's a lot of preparation that goes into having a flight, or say if you're like riding a bus, taking a bus somewhere, they really do take a lot of time into being able to make sure that that trip's going to go successfully. You're not going to run out of gas out there. So when traveling, I like to bring stuff that I can eat with me in the car, because sometimes we just want to munch on stuff in the car, right? You're sitting there for maybe hours if you're driving, or maybe you're on a plane ride or something. Bring stuff you can eat with you. They will allow you to bring fruits and vegetables on a plane. I think the dressings have to be in a separate bottle, and you can't, have anything over 4 ounces. So not a big deal. Bring a couple bottles of dressing and just explain to them, look, this is what I do. I eat raw foods. I have to have my dressing with me. And anytime that I've ever traveled, they don't say anything. So it makes it really nice because I don't have to be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? Well, I guess I'm kind of stuck. I have to go to this particular fast food restaurant because I didn't bring anything to eat. So planning is so huge, and that really has helped me with traveling, is just knowing I've got my bases covered. And I always like to bring more food than I really need. A lot of times I don't eat all the food that I bring. When we go camping or whatnot, we'll bring our melons, we'll bring, apples and oranges. These sorts of foods do really well. They don't have to be refrigerated. Cucumbers are really nice and sturdy. They don't have to be refrigerated, but that has really helped me in a lot of ways when traveling. So I hope that helps. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.